Arsenal are done with finishing second. 3 seasons in a row, they've watched Manchester City and Liverpool lift the Premier League trophy. This time, there is no patience, no waiting, no excuses.
What do you think of the current Arsenal situation of sort of 6 years now, 5-6 years without a trophy, but they're building and they're sort of getting better each time?
That's a tall building now. The building is tall. There's a lot of the building is really tall. That's big. So
Mikel Arteta has built one of the meanest defences in Europe. Last season, the Gunners conceded just 35 goals, with William Saliba and Gabriel Magalhaes forming a wall no one could break.
Your pillar of strength is your 2 centre-backs, trust me. Saliba and Gabriel are the best partnership in the league. I've been saying it for the last 2 and a bit years. They are the best partnership in the Premier League. Van Dijk's the best centre-back, I think. But the best partnership is these two. They cover each other. One goes in, one goes short. They trust each other. They cajole, they push each other on. They look like they're battling to be the best between them, let alone everybody else.
That's already a foundation strong enough to fight for the title. But now, Arsenal have gone one step further. They've broken the bank to complete the puzzle. No more missing pieces, no more gaps in the squad. Martin Zubimendi, one of the best defensive midfielders in the world, signed for £60 million.
Un grande, ya lo he dicho que para mí ya sabéis que es un futbolista segundo mejor del mundo con Rodrigo.
Christian Nørgaard, a Premier League warrior, arrived for £15 million.
Plenty of potential threats and fall for Nørgaard.
Noni Madueke, a winger with superstar potential, came in for £48.5 million.
Madueke, guys.
Are you excited by that?
No.
Yeah. No Arsenal fan's going to be.
And Christian Mosquera, the Iron defender from Valencia, joined for just £13 million. As if that wasn't enough, Arsenal signed the deadliest striker in Europe, Victor Gyökeres. 54 goals in 52 matches last season, a ridiculous return. A £54.8 million investment to finally end their search for a number 9. And then came the shock.
Well, I think his goals, his threat, I think he pins both centre-backs. He's a player that the moment you leave him with the space 1 against 1, he's going to destroy.
From Crystal Palace, the jewel of Selhurst Park, Eberechi Eze. A £60 million move that left Tottenham stunned. Eze chose Arsenal over Spurs, and with Havertz injured, Arteta didn't hesitate. Now the picture is complete. Arteta has every weapon he needs, a squad with balance, depth and star power in every line. This isn't just Arsenal aiming to compete. This is Arsenal built to terrify the Premier League. Arsenal spent £241 million in one of the most complete transfer windows in recent memory. And just when it looked like business was done, came the move nobody saw coming. Arsenal reached an agreement with Crystal Palace to sign Eberechi Eze.
Eberechi Eze to Arsenal. Here we go, deal done for Crystal Palace player to leave the club and join the Gunners after their hijack in the last 24 hours. Eze had an agreement on personal terms with Tottenham. The deal was very advanced with Crystal Palace, but not done. And then Kai Havertz injury changed Arsenal.
The deal is worth close to £68 million, the same figure Spurs were ready to pay, and personal terms are already agreed. The operation was led by Arsenal's new sporting director, Andrea Berta, alongside Vice Chairman Tim Lewis.
Oh, you're going to go to Tottenham? No, but you meant to be going to Tottenham. Yeah, no, you're going to Tottenham.
Eze will be the 7th signing of this busy summer under Berta, who arrived from Atletico Madrid. So far, Arsenal have added goalkeeper Kepa Arrizabalaga, defender Christian Mosquera, midfielders Martin Zubimendi and Christian Nørgaard, winger Noni Madueke, and striker Victor Gyökeres. Now, Eze joins to complete the puzzle. This move has extra weight because of Kai Havertz's injury, which could keep him out for a while. Eze isn't a like-for-like replacement, but his arrival frees up players like Mikel Merino and Leandro Trossard to cover at centre-forward if needed. And there's also an emotional side. Eze grew up an Arsenal fan, played in the academy, and signing him ahead of Spurs adds even more spice for the supporters. So what does he bring? Arsenal needed more firepower on the left side. While Saka and Ødegaard dominate the right, last season Martinelli and Trossard delivered good but not great numbers. Eze, who shines as a number .10 but can also play wide left or deeper in midfield, adds creativity, drive and unpredictability. He breaks presses with dribbles, drives through lines, and can pick the killer pass, a rare double threat. At 27, Eze is entering his prime. His skill set could be the difference between Arsenal having just a good season or finally turning it into a title-winning one. Eberechi Eze arrives at Arsenal after finishing last season as one of the hottest players in the country, scoring in 6 games in a row and shining in both the FA Cup semi-final and final at Wembley as he inspired Crystal Palace to their first major trophy.
More what they were doing, and here's Munoz, who was very involved then. Oh, it's exactly...
That is the livewire talent Arsenal now have, the maverick who can unlock deep defences and break the predictable patterns of attack. He brings something Arsenal were missing on the left side, completely different to Leandro Trossard or Gabriel Martinelli. And with Victor Gyökeres now leading the line, he will thrive on the kind of passes that made Jean-Philippe Mateta look unstoppable at Palace. Arsenal are heavily tilted towards the right-hand side, where Bukayo Saka and Martin Odegaard dominate the ball. Rice and Martinelli are the runners, always pushing into the box. Eze's profile could balance this dynamic, as he's a number 10 by nature, someone who demands the ball, dribbles past players, and creates from the half space instead of hugging the touchline. The challenge, though, is that Eze is not a natural left winger. He's right-footed and most dangerous when cutting inside into central areas.
Some space, just effortlessly gliding forward here.
That means the left back becomes even more crucial. Whether it's Riccardo Calafiori or Miles Lewis-Skelly, the full back will need to overlap constantly, just as Ben White does for Saka on the opposite side. Arsenal's biggest struggles in the last 2 seasons have come against low and mid blocks, not the so-called Big Six. They've often dropped points against sides that sit deep. With someone like Eze, who can break presses with a drop of the shoulder or a driving run, Arsenal add a new weapon. And here comes the tactical twist. With Rice as a pure number 6 behind Odegaard and Eze as dual playmakers, Arsenal could mirror Guardiola's City from 2017/18 when Fernandinho held the base and Silva with De Bruyne pulled the strings. Arteta already tested this shape against Everton last season. Now, Eze makes it viable for the long run.
Pair of them was Joel Ward. This is great feet. It's a great ball through as well. Major chance here for...
It also brings flexibility. Zubimendi could swap roles with Rice or step into defence and invert. Odegaard's importance remains. But in games where Arteta needs more direct running or a second creator, Eze can fill the gap. His movement is elite, he carries the ball with purpose, and he finishes well. At Palace, he showed the flair to knit play together like Gabriel Jesus once did for Arsenal, at his best. Now we need to talk about Victor Gyökeres. Many have rushed to criticise Victor Gyökeres after his very first Premier League match with Arsenal. Against Manchester United, the Swedish striker produced a nightmare stat line: 0 goals, 0 assists, 0 shots, 0 dribbles, 4 of 9 passes completed, and 0 key passes. For a forward of his calibre, it was a shocking performance. But people need to take a step back. We're still talking about the man who scored 54 goals in 52 games last season. Those weren't just against small sides, he even punished giants like Manchester City.
Reds through on goal again!
To claim after one bad match that Gyökeres can't handle the Premier League is pure nonsense. For Arsenal, his arrival marks the end of a long wait. At last, Mikel Arteta has a genuine elite striker to lead the line. Arsenal have been on an upward climb under the Spaniard, but there's been a glaring problem: finishing. In 2024/25, they scored only 69 goals in the league, far fewer than the 91 and 88 in the 2 previous seasons. No player even hit double figures in the Premier League. Kai Havertz, the top scorer, managed just 9.
I hate that for the rest of my life, wallah. But there's one thing about Robin van Persie, and he's one of them that when you have a bad game, you can rely on somebody to give you a goal. Wallahi, there's not one individual in Arsenal Football Club that I can rely on outside of Bukayo Saka on a bad performance and tell me, yo fam, take the ball and do something with it.
Time and again, Arsenal created more chances than their rivals, but failed to kill games off. It's why they drew 14 matches last year.
Manchester City, an unprecedented 4th title in a row, making Premier League history following their 3-1 win over West Ham.
Arteta's system itself works. Arsenal press relentlessly, control the tempo, and overload wide areas. But none of their forwards offered that lethal edge, that killer instinct to stretch the backline and punish defenders. That's why the club spent £54.8 million plus £8.6 million in add-ons to bring Gyökeres from Sporting. And make no mistake, he is a different beast. A striker who lives off the shoulder of the last defender. A forward who thrives on early passes, open space, and chaos. His first thought is always to shoot, to go straight for the jugular.
Zubimendi first time, and the header!
Just look at the numbers. 45 goals in Portugal's Primeira Liga and Champions League from an expected goals tally of 35. He isn't just clinical, he creates danger with a volume of attacking actions few can match. Under Mikel Arteta, rarely been a classic penalty box striker. Kai Havertz, Gabriel Jesus, and at times Leandro Trossard, when used centrally, have mainly acted as link players. They drop into pockets, connect play, and leave space up front for runners coming from wide or deeper positions. The numbers prove it. Havertz takes more than half his touches, 52% in the final third, but only 13.6% inside the box. Jesus is almost identical, 55% in the final third, 16% in the box. Both also spend over a third of their touches in midfield zones, functioning more like extra midfielders when Arsenal have the ball. By contrast, it's Bukayo Saka and Gabriel Martinelli who are the real box attackers. Saka averages 9.4 touches in the box per 90 minutes, Martinelli 7.6, while Havertz lags behind at 5.4. Saka also leads Arsenal for progressive passes received, 13.3 per 90, and progressive carries 5 per 90. Ball carrying shows the same story. Havertz averages 1.7 progressive carries per 90, Jesus 2.2, meaning their runs are more about maintaining structure than breaking defensive lines. Their job is to pull defenders out of shape and circulate possession, not to directly explode forward. The tactical effect is obvious. Arsenal overload heavily on the right side with Saka, Martin Odegaard and Ben White, leaving Martinelli isolated on the left. Last season, only 32.9% of Arsenal's attacking touches came down that flank, the lowest figure in the Premier League. That's why easy is so important rigid now. This is where Victor Gyökeres is different. He is a direct striker who thrives on volume, more touches in the box, higher expected goals output, and far more involvement in direct runs and progressive receptions. He is not a classic poacher, but more of a battering ram, using his power and directness to exploit space. Last season, he produced 1.25 goals per 90 minutes, including 0.87 non-penalty goals per 90, from 0.69 elite numbers, among the best in Europe. Compared with other centre-forwards across Europe's top 7 leagues, he ranks in the 89th percentile for runs in behind and 82nd for lateral runs into half spaces and wide channels. He also makes strong overlapping and underlapping runs, making him a constant outlet in transitions and in structured attacks. This kind of channel running is exactly what Arsenal have lacked. If Arsenal play him earlier and allow him to attack in chaotic moments, they'll have a weapon they haven't had for years, a striker whose movement constantly unsettles defenders and poses a direct, decisive threat. But here's the question. Can Arsenal fit a player who thrives in chaos into a system designed to control it? Last season, Arsenal were the second slowest team in the league in moving the ball upfield, averaging 14.2 seconds per attacking sequence. They were also 5th in high turnovers with 285, but often failed to turn those moments into shots. Gyökeres, by nature, might force a change in rhythm. The positioning contrast tells the whole story. Havertz's receptions are spread out across deeper and wider areas, reflecting his role as a connector. Gyökeres, on the other hand, stays central and advanced, always on the last shoulder, always between the posts. He needs earlier and more vertical service. At Sporting, he was constantly played in early. He averaged 10.8 progressive pass receptions per 90, compared to Havertz's 7.9. Arsenal's build-up's more patient, recycling the ball until the right moment, but to unleash him, they may need to break that rhythm more often. His 85 sprints above 25 km per hour last season more than double any other forward in Portugal lose their bite if the pass arrives too late. Arsenal's dilemma feels very similar to what Pep Guardiola went through in 2022-23 when Manchester City signed Erling Haaland. Haaland exploded from day one, smashing a record 36 league goals. But here's the twist. City's overall output didn't actually go up. The year before, they had scored 96 goals without a classic striker, spreading the responsibility across the team. With Haaland, they finished with 92, 4 fewer, though his tally alone made up a staggering 38% of the total. Kevin De Bruyne, who had been their top scorer the season before with 15 goals, suddenly dropped to just 15% of City's share. That's the lesson Arsenal must keep in mind with Victor Gyökeres. He is a brutal striker, a true predator in the box, and quite possibly the signing of the season.
So it's going to create a lot of space as well for us, and yeah, the moment that in any situation there is a player there that can score a goal.
But his arrival must add layers to the attack, not narrow it. If Arteta integrates him the right way, alongside Martin Odegaard pulling strings and Bukayo Saka tormenting fullbacks, Arsenal could unleash the most terrifying attacking trio in the Premier League, one built on creativity, speed, and a ruthless finisher ready to punish any mistake. Now we need to talk about Martin Zubimendi, because every ball went through the Spaniard.
Arteta's Arsenal.
The moment I start to think about that,
I feel goosebumps.
On his Premier League debut at Old Trafford, Zubimendi didn't just tick the box collectively by helping Arsenal grab 3 crucial points. He also shone individually. Arsenal spent close to £70 million on him because Mikel Arteta wanted a true anchor, someone to dictate the tempo, the rhythm, and the flow of this team. And in his very first 90 minutes as a gunner, the number 36 was everywhere. He registered more passes than anyone else in Arsenal's side with 45, just ahead of Ødegaard. He finished with an 87% completion rate and covered more ground than any player on the pitch, clocking 11.2 kilometres alongside Ødegaard, even outrunning Bruno Fernandes. He produced 6 line-breaking passes in the first half alone, more than any other player in the game. That's what Arsenal bought. A midfielder who can control tempo under pressure, who always angles his body to create options, who never stops scanning. He makes the pitch feel bigger for his teammates, constantly creating time and space. Like the best pivots, he looks as if he has more seconds to play with than anyone else. Zubimendi isn't just about recycling the ball, he's about breaking lines, carrying Arsenal upfield and linking smoothly into the final third. And when you add him into a midfield with Ødegaard, the creative genius, and Declan Rice, the engine and destroyer, suddenly Arsenal have balanced structure and variety. Add Victor Gyökeres up top, Bukayo Saka creating danger from the right, and now Ebereki Eze injecting flair from the left, and you start to see why this Arsenal side feels like a finished puzzle. Madueke offers depth, Nørgaard adds reliability and rotation, and then you've got the defensive wall, Gabriel and Saliba supported by Calafiori and White, who give width, energy and security. Behind them stands David Raya, the best goalkeeper in the Premier League, who once again proved against United that he is a brick wall with cat-like reflexes. Put all of this together, and you don't just have a good Arsenal team, you have a terrifying one. Arteta now has the squad to finally end the runners-up narrative and genuinely push for the Premier League title. This Arsenal doesn't just compete, this Arsenal wants to conquer. We decided to save this last part for the end, because it deserves special attention. If Arsenal are genuine contenders to win absolutely everything, it is because of their defensive system and the men who make it work.
Good teams don't play well sometimes, but they still win because they find a way. The defence is as important as an attack. Yeah. Right? Yeah. And as fans, we're always focused on attack because that's the most exciting part about football. But the defence is important. If you don't believe that, go and speak to United fans today because they actually played well going forward, right? But they got nothing to show for it because the keeper, what was he doing? He just basically batted it to Calafiori to head into the back of the net. Yeah. That was a difference. Arsenal, they attacked well.
Arsenal ended the campaign with 20 clean sheets across all competitions and once again conceded the fewest goals in the Premier League. William Saliba is the ultimate modern centre-back, calm, composed and dominant in duels. He has the best pass completion rate among centre-backs in the league, which allows Arsenal to build from the back with ease. Gabriel Magalhaes is aerially dominant and physically imposing. He leads the league in aerial duels won and blocks, making him the defensive anchor. Together with Saliba, he gives Arsenal the freedom to play a high line without fear of being exposed. Their ability to recover quickly, win one-on-one duels, and read danger before it develops is a major reason why Arsenal boast the best defensive record in the division. Jurrien Timber stands out for his versatility and aggression. Despite not being tall, he excels in aerial duels thanks to his intelligence and anticipation. Technically sharp, he can step out from the back with the ball and win it back high up the pitch. Then there's Miles Lewis-Skelly. When a young player steps into the first team and instantly shows calmness, confidence, and natural strength, he wins trust fast, and that's exactly what Skelly has done. A monster in duels, he holds a 73.1% success rate, the best in Arsenal's squad, averaging nearly 8 duels won per 90 minutes. Across the whole Premier League, only Ezri Konsa of Aston Villa ranks above him. Even Liverpool's greats, Ibrahima Konate and Virgil van Dijk, sit behind Skelly in the top 5. Hale End has given Arsenal yet another duel. On the left, Riccardo Calafiori is the perfect fit for Arteta's system. Technically secure and composed, he always opens his body to receive, creates passing lanes, and looks to break lines. Though naturally left-footed, he is comfortable on his right as well, making him press-resistant. Calafiori is aggressive with the ball and loves to play vertical passes, something Arsenal's forwards Gyökeres, Saka, and Eze thrive on. On the opposite side, Ben White offers the same security and progressive play. Since last year, Arsenal have conceded only 35 goals, consistently keeping opponents at a safe distance, as they chase their first Premier title in 2 decades. With 21 clean sheets already, belief is sky high in Arteta's camp. The data is frightening. Arsenal's opponents average just 0.44 expected goals per match, producing only 1.8 shots on target per 90 minutes. David Raya, with 21 clean sheets in 56 appearances, has been superb, though in truth he has been brilliantly protected. Arsenal have faced just 71 shots on target since January, 20 fewer than Manchester City and 32 fewer than Liverpool.
I think we see it as a bit of both really well, a lot of both, because it is a bad miss, but it's an unbelievable bit of goalkeeping. And the moment that I actually made me give David Raya man of the match, and it was interesting because I actually didn't put David Raya in my team of the year last year, and this week in Manchester he was named in the PFA team of the year by the rest of the Premier League players. It's a great reward for him, and I actually put Martinez, who had a difficult moment in this game, for the second goal from Partey.
But make no mistake, this brilliance is not only about the defenders, it's a team effort. With Declan Rice acting as the shield and Martin Ødegaard leading the press from the front, Arsenal have become one of the most organised and aggressive pressing teams in Europe. Every player commits to the system, every player defends, and that's the true secret to Arteta's Arsenal, a side who are just as dangerous without the ball as they are with it.